Hello everyone, it's the weekend. Welcome again to Massey United Insurance's Line and Length. It's the cricket program where we look at the sport not only in the region but internationally as well. I'm your host Barry Wilkinson. Hello to all of our friends on Sportsmax or Scene TV or wherever you're watching this broadcast. On today's program, some very hard questions being asked to the chairman of selectors of the West Indies team, Clive Lloyd, about the teams being picked to go India and of course subsequently South Africa right after, especially coming after a series of Bangladesh where, to tell the truth, the opposition was not that hard. He's going to be on the program today, and Wavell Hines, the former player for the West Indies and also the president of the West Indies Players Association, will join Andrew Seeley to talk about a new agreement being signed and his thoughts as well on the West Indies team. Don't move a muscle. You're watching Massey United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Call.
Live cool with Lima Call and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Call is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call.
Welcome back to the show then, as promised. With me, Chairman of Selectors Clive Lloyd. We just finished a very interesting series against Bangladesh. Now, many people, Clive, would say, you know, the West Indies only beat Bangladesh. As Chairman of Selectors in your first new role, how would you respond to such a comment by people?
Well, like the point is that they're in the test arena. We've beaten another test team, albeit they might be lower than we are. But this is the same team that beat us a couple of years ago, although we might have had some of the main players missing, but yes, it's a win, and it gives us that chance of going into the next test series on a winning note. We have some young players. We want them to get accustomed to winning, and that helps. I think the more you win, the more you want to win, and as I said earlier on, winning, just like losing, is contagious.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the key elements in the West Indies team currently. First, Shivnarine Shanapal. You talk about young players. He's age 40, but he had a tremendous series. How do you see Shiv and his future development in this West Indies team?
Well, he's a total professional, and the point is we need the players to sort of adopt that sort of situation where you train properly, you're going to the nets and you want to bat like you're out there in a test match. He bats for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. He trains, as you said, he's 40 years old. He's not overweight, so he's doing extremely well, and it's great to have a professional like him coming lower in the batting order and shoring up our batting lineup. And I think that he's a beacon, really, for the younger players. They see how, he leaves a lot of balls alone. He only plays at those that, you need to. He shows he's got a lot of confidence. Concentration span is great. And it's great to see that he still has that at that age. So it can only be, helpful to the young players to watch him perform.
On the flip side, you have someone like Craig Brathwaite, who's half Shanapal's age. He's 21, doing just as good. How do you see his development in perhaps just test cricket? Well,
he's a jewel in the crown at the moment. The point is that this guy is, he has the concentration. Nothing worries him. He seems to just go about his game. He knows how to build an innings. You can see that he never gives his hand away. Then he values his wickets, and I'm hoping that some of the young new guys coming in will look at that and adopt that sort of attitude. But at the moment, we do have some good young cricketers around, and I think winning is important. If we can get that winning attitude, it would be good for our cricket.
Jerome Taylor just picked up his 100th Test wicket. Tremendous feat. He was out of Test cricket for quite some time. How do you assess him as a selector? How are you going to use him? He has 3 versions now, Test, 50 over and T20, but he's obviously at the top of the pack. How are you going to use him now?
I think he had some terrific spells in this series, and the last day of the Test match, he bowled extremely well, and very consistent. And he did. I think he had a couple of catches dropped off of him, and I think that is one of the areas that we need to improve on, because if you have fast bowlers, a lot of catches will go down and slip, and you must have people there who can take those chances, because in Test cricket you give a top player a chance or two, they'll make use of it and put you under pressure.
Now, you know, you look at the fact that there's no head coach at the moment. This is a 2-part question. How do you view the West Indies not having a head coach? And also, Curtly Ambrose has obviously been a major inspiration for the fast bowlers. Your thoughts on Amby's role in the team?
Yeah, but we don't have a coach at the moment, but the point is I think Stuart Williams is doing quite a good job. And
do you think he could take over as head coach?
Well, I don't know. It all depends. We'll have to look at that and see if that is a possibility. I suppose that they'll have to advertise that position. But if we continue to do well there, I presume he'll have a very good chance of being involved. But Ambrose Courtney has been excellent. He's been excellent with the Warriors because I was involved with them. And then I think someone of his ilk being around our bowlers and our players and giving them that impetus that is needed, it augurs well for the future of our cricket.
Marlon Samuels has been away for a little while, not playing in Test cricket, but back in the thick of things, should be touring India. Happy to have him back because it's a pretty rough tour that's going to be coming up.
Yes, he's a terrific cricketer, there's no doubt about that. I think once we can get him, you know, he might be I don't think he's a difficult guy. I never found him to be a difficult fellow when I was involved. But we just want him to play and play well, because he can win games for you. He's a good fielder, he bowls a bit, and he's a terrific batter when he's on the go. So we just need to get him back in the park. He was injured, but I think he's coming through that quite well.
Ramnaresh Sarwan, do you see a future role for him in the West Indies team? Many people still believe, although he's not playing perhaps regional first-class cricket, he's doing well in his county side. Do you think he has it within himself to come back and play a role for West Indies?
Well, I never write anybody off. He's not an old guy. It's up to him. I think if he makes runs, well, I presume they'll have to think of him. But I don't want anybody to think that, you know, you're going to just come back into it. They have a lot of young players who do, you know, and they're doing well. And the point is that, you know, you have to play people who are interested, who really feel that they would like to be back in the West Indies side. And once you have the numbers, well, then you have a chance.
Final question. This has been the West Indies' 500th Test match. You have been a captain for quite some time. What would you say was the best period of those 500 Test matches for the West Indies? Well,
I think when I started in 66, 67, we were world champions when Gary was captain. And then we had a bit of a hiatus and, you know, things went downhill for a couple of years. But then in the 70s and 80s, we rose again. And I presume that was probably our halcyon days, I suppose. And I remember them quite well and fondly. And I hope that the players put that to one side of them, our new players, and try and get something of their own, create history of their own, because there's so much cricket to play and so many hills to climb and so many things to gain. I mean, they're better paid. You know, all we want them to do is to play good cricket and make our fans quite happy.
All right. None other than Clive Lloyd, chairman of the selectors with the West Indies cricket team. We'll be right back on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Call.
Live cool with Lima Call and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Call is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Line and Length with me, Wavell Hines from the West Indies Players Association. Wavell, good to see you in Barbados, and certainly good to see you at a West Indies Cricket Board press conference. Is it clear that the relationship between the two organizations is at an all-time high now?
Well, it's good to see you too, Mr. Seeley, and thanks for the welcome. The relationship has been improving over the last 2 to 3 years. I would certainly say that from my experience, the West Indies Cricket Board has been pretty much on point. They have been true to their word. Of course, we have had hiccups. Of course, we still have disagreements, and we baffle over them in the boardroom. But I think the respect that stands between both parties is at its highest, and I'm happy for that. What we're about is partnership, and we try to unite ourselves as the West Indies Players Association and our members, given that we've got members who have achieved at different levels. And once we got a consensus unanimously, we thought that we took that sort of a, experience and a sort of a attitude towards the West Indies Cricket Board, and that has been very much favorable, and the West Indies Cricket Board is operating on good faith, and the relationship is harmonious, as you can see. And of course, we're coexisting in the best interest of West Indies cricket.
Well, of course, this morning's historic signing, 90-plus players hopefully signed to all-year contracts. Basically, it's a new step in terms of West Indies cricket. Your thoughts on this magnificent new step?
Well, my thought on it is pretty clear and sure. This is not revolutionary. It is pretty much we're playing catch-up as a region, trying to put some form of a professional structure to our cricket. We've got the talent, the raw material is never in question. We've got the passion, we've got our unique style as West Indian. But what we didn't have is the sort of professional setup to own those skills on a consistent basis, and not just when there's a tour pending or there's a regional tournament pending. I think as West Indians, we can see what our players have done across their various platforms, but of recent past and most instructively is the T20 competitions around the world. And when I count in the last IPL, I think we had in excess of about 12 or so players who are not just making up numbers in their squad, they're actually
critical factors
in the team. Samuel Badger is to be noted, Karan Pollard, Dwayne Bravo, Chris Gale, Raviram Paul, and young Cavan Cooper was not represented the West Indies yet. It's still certainly a big factor in the IPL. And that is the major T20 tournament in the world if we're going to be true to what avails now. So on that front, I think that as a players association, we try to encourage our members to see to it that what Western Street was trying to do, and I think this MOU CBA creates the form of stability that will give you the kind of foundation that will allow you then to launch yourselves into the various factions. We've got Darren Sammy, Dennis Ramdin, and Dwayne Bravo as our 3 captains of the various versions. And I think there's 3 competent leaders. They themselves demand and command the respect within their units and across all 3 platforms for some guys. And we think that we've got a pretty decent captains around the region. Tamara Lambert is a good captain. Kirk Edwards did a good job for Barbados. There's Liam Sebastian does a good job for the Windward Islands. Trinidad and Tobago has their different various leaders. So there's a lot of raw material, as I said before. But once this professionalization comes to the fore, I think as a region we get players going to work every day, looking after themselves, looking after their skills, and knowing fully well that they are a part of the society, an elite part of the society, I may add, as international West Indies cricketers fall in the top 1% of earners in the region. And so I think with who much is given, much is expected. So I think our members will know that the responsibility lies with them to not only upskill themselves and develop themselves, but when it's time to execute on the international scene, that the West Indies major shareholders, the fans, and of course all other shareholders see true quality coming through and get good and just reward at the end of the day.
You mentioned a few players there just now, Andre Russell, Kevin Cooper, Samuel Badri. These are players that have been somewhat pigeonholed into particular roles in T20 cricket. Do you see this opportunity with these contracts now as an opportunity for these individuals to spread themselves out so fans can see, and I certainly commentators as well, see that they are more than just T20 cricketers?
Yes, I don't want to preempt the selection process, as the selection process is purview of the West Indies Cricket Board and its special committee led by, of course, the legendary Clive Lloyd, the Honourable Courtney Walsh, and of course, Mr. Eldine Baptiste and Courtney Brown. So, but I think that there are players in the pool of the West Indies cricketing player circle, or the cadre of players that we have, who are certainly capable and competent of playing only more than one version of the game. I also believe that the T20 platform provides for people to identify with people's talent, to give the players exposure to compete at the international level, and to feel and know that once they do what they need to do, that they are good enough to be there. Of course, more work needs to be had in terms of upskilling themselves and developing themselves. And I speak to the increase in first-class games, 4-day cricket, which will help them to upskill themselves so that they will be competent to play across all three platforms. I strongly believe that if you can master the art of playing 4-day cricket over 2-3 seasons, then you are pretty much on your way to playing in any version of the game. It's just a matter of tweaking your game up or down according to the version that you're involved with. Shivnarine Chanderpaul is a living example of that. His average is only getting better as he gets older, and he's pretty much an exception to the rule because it normally goes in the other direction. So we have those kind of examples to link on. Chris Gayle is still probably the best T20 player in the world. Samuel Badge is still the best T20 bowler in the world. So we've got enough cricketers and enough living examples around that. Those guys, the Andre Russells, the Kieran Pollard himself, I believe that he has more to offer than just T20 and one-day cricket, and I hope that himself will put his stakes out, fill his boots and put his stalls out for the selectors to see him in a favourable way for Test match cricket. Andre Russell has played one Test match and have been featured in T20s for the most part and one-day international, and he has more to offer. We see what he can do in the CPL. We saw what he did in the CPL, and we are presently looking at him now in the Champions League, winning games for Calcutta Knight Riders. So there's a lot of raw material around, and we must own those skills. There's young Craig Brathwaite, who came into international cricket. A lot of people think that he didn't belong. Went back to first-class cricket, dominated first-class cricket, and back in international cricket, and has scored a double century. He's in a very elite group of West Indian cricketers. So yes, it may be against Bangladesh, but the fact of the matter is that there are many other batsmen who played against Bangladesh who didn't even pass 50. So those are things that we must celebrate, and those are things that must reassure the player themselves, but most importantly, the guys who are at the next level who wants to aspire to get there, that once you put in the hard work and things, you can get to where you need to be. So I think the platform by the West Indies Cricket Board is good to establish a professional setup. That's the duty of, I think, a governing body, to make sure that you provide the environment to facilitate growth and development, and also to create a very competitive marketplace so that most of our players can truly apply the trade against each other, but most importantly aspire to play for the West Indies and add to the great legacy that started from we being ball fetchers and trained back to our colonial masters before then we graduated to being bowlers because of our biological and physical makeup, into the Sir Garfield Sobers, the Frank Worrells, the Ron Canais, through to the great era of Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, Sir Richard Richardson, and all those players come through to, of course, Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh, and Brian Lara. And I believe presently Shivnarine Chanderpaul is carrying the torch and boldly on his shoulder. A big burden, but he's making much of it, and we are proud of that.
Well, certainly, I want to put one question to you now. Clive Lloyd has indicated that we need to see a greater care by our players, a greater support for the national team, for the West Indies, and he's expressed a concern that many fans have expressed in terms of your loyalty to West Indies cricket. Your thoughts as the president of WIPA?
Well, we have signed on to an agreement that speaks to West Indian players participating in our local competitions. We strongly believe that was discussed at our annual general meeting, and it was voted on unanimously to come up with this competition. The document speaks to it. We expect them to participate in it. It also lends support. It gives information. It gives knowledge to the junior players to rub shoulders with the senior guys. But on a financial standpoint, which is for viability and sustainability, that will get sponsors coming on board at the local level. And once they participate at that level, I'm sure that West Indies cricket should come first. Without West Indies cricket, I don't think they'll be recognized, because even though Kevin Cooper, as an example, did not play for the West Indies, the fact that he's from the West Indies would have given some sort of a credence to the people picking him up in their competitions over there. So we can't hide from our legacy. We can't hide from what we do. The gone are the days where county cricket used to be the finishing school for our cricketers, and we have to be our own finishing school, develop those players in the different areas. And what this document does as well, and what this structure does, is allow the players to play together at the territorial level as if they're on the West Indies team. So you get different players in the room from Barbados, Trinidad and Guyana representing the Leeward Islands. So when they get into the West Indies dressing room, they would have practiced. They would have practiced the culture, the style, respect people's religion and positions, and political background, whatever it may be. Those things will be acknowledged and respected, so that we go out defending the maroon and representing the flair and passion, but also playing with a lot of purpose and representing the West Indies people. So I'm a West Indian. I am always going to say West Indies first. The option is there for players to decide if they want to go elsewhere, knowing fully well that if you're not qualified to play through playing regional cricket, then you will be playing for the West Indies. So I think once that is sold to the players, it has already, but we need to reiterate those things, and it's an ongoing discussion that needs to be had. And I think players will understand that once we are playing as a West Indian, they will remember the passion and joy they had in 2012 when they won the T20 World Cup. You saw the dances and everything, and the Caribbean was on fire. I was privileged enough to play in the West Indies team in 2004 when the Champions Trophy in England, and we watched on television how our people were being distraughted by the hurricanes and all the rest of it. One day, when we won the cup and switched on the television, and the next day, that we had a very cheerful Caribbean. Never mind, there wasn't any electricity in the water. You wouldn't know that, because there was a party right through the night, and there were sounds and noise and all the rest of it. And those things are the reasons you play cricket, and you get cold bumps all over you when you see those things, because the people who contribute the most to cricket are getting the rewards in joy and happiness, and those are the fans who come through the turnstile and sit on the seats and cheer you along, and when you don't do well, they give you unkind words in the streets, but I know they don't mean it. It's just the way. Because when you win tomorrow, they're the first to come and tell you thanks. So that's the West Indian way.
Thank you very much, Wavell Hines, the president of the West Indies Players Association. You are watching Massey United Insurance's Line and Length, and we'll be right back.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Call.
Live cool with Lima Call and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Call is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call.
So that's it for this week, again on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. Don't forget you can go on email to send us anything you want to, cricket@lineandlength.net. Also on Twitter you can find us, our handle is @linelength. I'm Barry Wilkinson, on to next week. Bye-bye for now.